Okay. Hi, Dr. Thompson. How are you?
Hi, Douglas. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. Nice to see you. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
Let's see. You are a teacher. Are you a teacher? Yeah, I would think,
No,
yeah.
I'm a former teacher. I'm
Former
currently a
teacher.
vice president in a nonprofit.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hmm.
And you're also an author.
I am.
And is this your first book or have you written other books?
No, this is my first book.
Well, the book is called Foundation Basics for New Members Teacher and Student Manual. Why did you decide to write the book?
So actually, this book was birthed back in about 2014. I was a member of a small little, um, well, small to medium sized church on the west side of Chicago. And I asked my pastor at that time, could I rewrite the curriculum for new members? And he said yes. And so I wrote a curriculum of 10 lessons that are embedded in the book. And I kind of left it alone. And then like a year later, when I visited my old church, one a young lady approached me who took over the class after I did, and she was like, "Man, you a bad sister." And I was like, "What?" And so she was telling me how the curriculum they didn't really change once I left. So again, I didn't think about it because that was like at that point 2019. At the beginning of 2020, though, it was pressed upon me, by the Spirit of God to really build this book out. And so I really took the curriculum and fleshed it out in a way where there is a teacher manual in the front and a student manual in the back. So that's how the book was birthed.
Okay, so this is actually a book for teachers and students to read?
Yes.
Okay. And what was wrong with the curriculum before?
I don't know if it was anything wrong with it. It did not feel like it was connected or intertwined, where one lesson built upon the other. So my curriculum is more of a stair step building block, whereas the previous curriculum was kind of topics that they wanted people to know, but it wasn't really interconnected. Where it was a building block kind of curriculum.
Okay, well, it's been a long time since I've been at school, so you may have to refresh my memory. But the curriculum is what, basics, math, science, reading, English, all that, or?
No, so this is for new members to a church. So this curriculum talks about topics such as the Godhead and salvation and the armor of God. So if you are a new Christian or if you are a church leader, this curriculum is designed for new members or new Christians to a church. But in a secular space, to your point, yes, the curriculum would be reading, math, science, social studies, those kind of things.
Oh, okay. Well, I was a little confused then. So this book is for church members, not for. See, when you said teachers, I was thinking classroom, school, kids.
Oh, no. So take that same thought and plug it into a church setting. Students, teacher, facilitator. It's the exact same thing. You just plop it into a church setting.
Okay, I got it. All right. Okay. So if somebody was a new member of your church, you would give them this book to read?
Well, or if you are a pastor or a Christian education teacher, you could walk them through the book as well. You can make it either in person or live video sessions.
Oh, I see. Okay. Maybe give me an example of something that's in the book. Just maybe that'll help me understand what it is a little better.
Okay. So like one of the lessons in the book is about spiritual gifts. So at the beginning of that particular lesson, I outline, and this is actually for every lesson in the book. There's an introductory note to kind of walk you through what this lesson will be about. There is a material section to tell you what you may need. There is a objective to tell you what the student will learn. There is an outline so that you understand exactly what scriptures or what questions you need to ask. And then after that, if I didn't embed the questions in the outline, there are questions and or activities to do so that you can make sure the student has you know thought about the information and reflected on it and is able to answer the questions at the end of every lesson. So that's how all the lessons are structured in this particular book.
Is this like a Sunday school?
It could be. You could make it a Sunday school class.
But the book really is the book sort of aimed at all age groups, or is it more for
So really,
adults? Or?
I would say it's aimed at from the ages of 12 and up. I don't know if you could really use this book with kids who are under 12, just because the Bible. text as itself. Most times when you teach Bible lessons to children, you try to teach them the characters in the Bible. And then usually when they turn about 12 or 13, you start teaching some of the other scriptures and some of the other things in the Bible that are not the Bible stories.
Okay.
So Bible, when I say Bible stories, like for example, everybody knows the story of David and Goliath, Adam and Eve, the story of Jesus, those kind of things. That's what you teach kids. But as people progress in the church, you start to teach them more concepts for life application.
It's funny. I haven't thought about this in probably 300 years, but
It's okay.
I remember when I was about 7 or 8 years old for Christmas, I got a book called The Bible in Picture for Little Eyes.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's still in print, but it was a beautiful hand sort of bound hardcover book. It had great big glossy pictures, and it was just like you said. It talked about Adam and Eve, it talked about
Yep.
Noah's Ark, it talked
Yep.
about Moses and the Ten Commandments,
Yes.
but it was all done for children, for young children.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm curious though, okay, because is this book for sale to the general public?
It is. It is also. It is on. It's in 3 places. So it's on Amazon, of course, Barnes and Noble, and Walmart.
Okay, well now why would somebody want to buy this?
That's a very good question. So if you are a lot of churches typically when they have new members come in, they don't necessarily have a class where they can invite them to engage with them in a way where they will understand more about their church and more about key Christian topics. So that's one reason why a church would want to buy this book. A new Christian, though, on the other hand, may want to buy this book because there are topics that we discuss that come up in church often, and that you're not familiar with. So I call it church jargon. So you know how sometimes when you go to church, there are words that people are saying or things a preacher is saying, and you're like, what are they talking about? I kind of give you some of that church jargon in the book so that you don't feel so lost. Because in church, people join church, but nobody ever takes the time to unpack and tell you what are these things that we're talking about? This Jesus, this armor of God, this spirit, salvation. What are these things we're talking about when we say amen and hallelujah? And those are some of the things that I break down in this book.
Do you think that the memberships of the churches in the United States are on the decline at this point?
It is. So actually, I just read a statistic that 1 million youth have left the church since the beginning of the pandemic. And I think that is because it is exactly what I'm talking about. We are not engaging students when they come into church and trying to disciple them in a way that makes sense.
Why do you think people are leaving?
I really think it's because no, most times when you go to church, people want you to come to church, do the church service, come home. But you really need to have some Bible classes and some activities so that people can be more engaged like they would at work. So you know how at work, you don't just go to work. Sometimes they have conferences at work, and sometimes they have lunch at work, and sometimes they have, trainings at work. It should be the same kind of thing at church. There should be activities, and there should be classes, and there should be other things besides a service to keep the people engaged so they feel like they're part of a community.
I think that's a good idea because from what I remember, you go in, you'd hear the sermon, and that would be it. So
Correct.
you didn't engage with anybody. You just sat there
Correct.
quietly. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. So the book is to sort of facilitate that idea, right?
Yes, you got it. Yes.
How long has the book been out?
Since February 22nd.
Are you getting a lot of sales for it?
So from what I can see on Amazon, it's not a lot of sales yet. But I really don't know because it only shows me paperback sales. It doesn't show me really Kindle and all the other things. I know that there are people who are interested in this book who follow me on Facebook in particular, because I kind of have a slightly older crowd on Facebook, of course. And I'm coming out with a website in about a month to help to sell the book as well, because I think that people need to get to know me better who are not part of my little sphere of influence, my little circle of folks that I know.
Do you think if somebody picked up the book that it might inspire them to go to church?
I think it would. or at least do online church because they want to know more about this Christian, this Christian faith, which is one of the many faiths, right? That we can access in the world. It's a faith that I follow my entire life because I was born and raised, in church and in Christianity.
How does online church work? I've never seen that.
So online church is literally just they take the service, right, and they put it up like on YouTube or live on Facebook or whatever, and you just watch it like you would a movie, right? And you engage with it in the chat. And then if you do the classes online, you can do the classes like literally through Skype or through Zoom or through Google Meets, right? So that you can interact with the people. So online church is just kind of like a movie or a television show, right? But you have the chat option where you can engage with the moderator. But classes, you can actually do the classes like you would if you were in person.
You're not a minister, right?
I am not.
You're not. Okay.
I am not.
So you're a member of a particular church?
I am.
Okay. All right, great. Is the book available have you given it to your other members of your congregation at the church?
I've given it to my pastor because I go for a mega church, everything kind of has to go through the pastor. And so he's had it for about a month. And so I need to follow up to see where we're at.
Oh, what does he think of it?
So that's what I'm waiting on.
Oh, that's what you're
Because again, I'm a member of a mega church. And so
a what
I'm
church?
Still waiting. I'm a member of a mega church. A mega church means my church has more than 10,000 members.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But do you actually go to a church, to a building?
Yes, I do.
But not with all 10,000 people.
Well, at this point, I would say it's about 4,000 or 5,000 who have come back since the pandemic has been easing up here in the state that I'm in, which is Illinois.
Okay. Well, I got some catching up to do. Church has changed since I was a kid.
It's okay.
I used to go with my grandfather, and
Okay.
there was maybe 80 people,
Okay.
and they would do the sermon, and then afterwards everybody would eat. They would have potluck. Everybody'd bring something, and you'd all sit down and have a nice Sunday meal, and that was it.
So that's the kind of church I left. So we would call that a medium-sized church. That's the kind of church that I left, where it has more of a family atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I always liked that part.
Yep.
As a kid, I didn't understand the sermons, but I always liked that part because the kids would all get together. We'd run around and, we'd have fun and get our Sunday clothes all dirty and,
Correct.
just enjoy ourselves. Well, I think on that, we need to kind of wind this down. Do you have a website for the book?
My website is upcoming. It'll go live in about a month. It'll be drvmst.com.
Okay. Well, do you want us to put that up? We'll put it up, and then
you sure can.
We can put coming soon or something like that.
Yes, it is coming soon.
Okay. All right, Doctor. Well, thanks so much. This was a nice conversation. Thank you for coming on the show. Best of luck with the book.